Performance USA, the greatest entertainers in America, is requested by you, the fighting men of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Command Performance, presented this week and every week till it's over there. Okay there, men, it's Command Performance and Company walking into Hollywood's Bank of Entertainment and making another payment on account of those great letters rolling in from you guys in the AEF and your fighting partners in all the United Nations. And speaking of accounts, don't forget that Command Performance is an open account for you to draw against whenever you like, for those letters are checks, good anytime, anywhere, and backed in full by the Special Service Division of the War Department. And now meet your chief teller for tonight, the gal whose voice is really the money in your book, making her umpteenth appearance on your big show, the Tennessee Thrush, Miss Dinah Shore.
This is the Army, Mr. Jones. No private rooms or telephones. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. This is the Army, Mr. Green. We like the barracks nice and clean. You had a housemaid to clean your floor, but she won't help you out anymore. Do what the buglers command. They're in the Army and not in the band. This is the Army, Mr. Brown. You and your baby went to town. She had you worried, but this is war, and she won't worry you anymore. You're in the Army now, you're not behind the plow. You gotta get up, you gotta get up, you're in the Army now. You're in the Army now, you're not behind the plow. You gotta get up, you gotta get up, you're in the Army now. This is the Army, Mr. Brown. You and your baby went to town. She had you worried, but this is war, and she won't worry you anymore.
Thank you. And thanks, Ken Carpenter, for getting me on. Hello again, fellas, and love to the Army, the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, the Merchant Marine, civilian workers, nurses, and all you fellas in all the United Nations. Whew, it's a load of loving. But loving or fighting in the USA, we can really dish it out. How about that, Mr. Rommel? Anyway, it's swell of you guys to invite me to Command Performance so often. It's gotten to be kind of a habit, one of those habits you want to hang on to instead of breaking. And you meet all the best people here on Command Performance. For instance, there's a fellow here from Texas, a real Texan, and he's dropping in to pay his respects to Callahan and the crowd at APO 827, and 20 nurses in England, and Bob Raymond and pals, and for a whole army of guys from all over Texas and the good old South. Before Vaudeville had that accident, you probably saw this lad around your own hometown, 'cause I know he played everything from the local bijou to the fifth race at Santa Anita. So, meet that great character actor, and a character in his own right, Chill Wills. Well, howdy, Chill.
Hi, Dinah.
The last time I saw you was down Nashville way. What's new, Chill? I understand you lost your Texas drawl.
Well, listen to me talk. You wouldn't think I come from Red Bank, New Jersey, would you?
Nope.
No, I come from Segoville, Texas. And you know what's a funny thing about a Texan getting into show business, Dinah? I was down in Dallas one day, and a fellow lateraled a joke book at me, and I started reading it, and I ended up out on the Dixie Highway, and a fellow handed me a bucket of white paint and a brush. And I started painting a stripe down that Dixie Highway. And you sure do get around the country doing that. I ended up in Chicago in a burlesque theater as a hick straight man. It was the Haymarket Theater, and then they tossed me around from Tinkers to Evers to Chan.
Old triple play, huh?
Yeah. And then came the grand old thing, vaudeville. Well, I fought that down to the last bulb in the footlight. And they got to locking those vaudeville theaters up so much till I got shut up in one in Tacoma. So I moved out to California here. Pictures, lock, stock, and barrel. And since I've been out here, I've had to hock the lock and sell the stock, and it looks like MGM's got me over that barrel.
But you like it here in Hollywood, don't you, Chill?
Oh, after a fashion, it's wonderful. They got a lot of... I like the way you showing me around and squiring me around. I like that trip down Hollywood Boulevard the other night, even with the dim out and all. And when we stopped in that big drugstore, I never saw such drugstores. Well, we were standing there, and we'd worked ourselves down to the horny section, and finally you decided you wanted yourself a chocolate soda, and we were sitting over there sucking our sodas through a straw.
Well, Jill, everybody has to suck their soda through a straw.
I know it, but you broke your straw, and you called the manager of the drugstore back, and you said my sucker's broke, and he looked right smack dab at
me. Well, anyway, Jill, here's where you're supposed to pop in with a song, isn't it?
I'm going to toss that remark right back in your lap, young lady.
You are?
Dinah, I, too, have written a song.
Uh-oh.
Now, come on. Will you do it for me tonight? Just
Okay.
take about 8 bars of it. It's kind of good. Meredith has got it all fixed up for you. And if you don't like it, you can go into that old bromide, go into your dance, you know.
Oh, man, these song pluggers do sneak up on you. All right, I'll take a chance on you anytime. Blue-eyed sailor, huh? Well, let's try it just for size.
Voila.
Here's a letter that I wrote, just a pensive little note to a man among men who's out there to win, sailing the deep blue sea. As my heart beats all the while near a South Pacific isle, where a blue-eyed god is doing a job for you and me. Our parting was so tragic. Protect him with South Sea magic, so that he will know I love him so, that blue-eyed sailor of mine. He's out in the South Pacific. They say he's doing terrific. And just to be specific, I'll always be true. Who wouldn't be true to that god near a coral isle? I warm at the thought of his smile, and the day when he'll be sailing home to me.
Dinah, you're a solid chick.
Oh,
Fellas, here is a very stoic dame. You really got in there and cut that pine tree down for me, honey.
Oh, flattery. You men are all flatterers. Say, Jill, I just heard that all men with big mouths are liars. Do you think that all men with big mouths are liars?
Well, I don't know, baby. I've just got a buttonhole cover.
Thank you. Thank you, Chill Wills, and stick around. Well, fellas, every now and then some one of you gets a hankering to hear an old familiar sound of things back home. And Command Performance, of course, hankers to oblige. Here's a shorty scribbled out by Sergeant Bill at APO 301. Dear Command Performance, I hope you won't think this is a silly request. At least, I don't think it is. And I've got a hunch you won't either. I come from a small town in Wisconsin, and what I'd like to hear is the old village church bell. Don't ask me why. I'd just like to hear it. Thanks. Okay, Sergeant. Here's your wish. The old village church bell. And while the church bell is ringing, we're calling R.W. Williams at 962 and 7 more sergeants at 953 and Jimmy Argo and Dick Grunman, 2 leathernecks in the radio shack somewhere in the South Pacific. The village bell goes along with your request, fellas. Your favorite quartet, the Charioteers, singing the Old Rugged Cross.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame. And I love that old cross where the dearest and the best are a world of lost sinners once slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross. Feel my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it someday for a
Beautiful. Thank you, Charioteers. Now, fellas, here's a letter that says, Darling Ann. We got a bunch of guys out here who think they're pretty fast on their feet. So how's about you coming on and showing these guys up with a tap dance like you do in the pictures? And please mention our names. Fellas, here's Darling Ann. Ann Miller. Welcome to Command Performance, Ann.
Thank you, Dinah. And what a welcome.
How come?
Oh, I mean that musical play on. Arthur Murray taught me dancing in a hurry.
Oh.
After all, Diana, my dancing is an art. Why, it took me years to perfect it.
How many years, dear?
How many years, dear, have you been singing My Mama Done Told Me?
Okay. See you in the alley right after the broadcast. But seriously, Ann, I hope you got those famous tap shoes on.
Why, yes, Diana. And for a lot of our men who've written in, Villeneuve, Johnson, and Tracy at 960, and Mullaney, Fisher, Lee, and the gang down in the Canal Zone. I'd like to answer those commands for me to tap out a message to the AEF.
What's the message, Ann?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it says, love from Ann Miller. But actually, it's thumbs up and V for victory. Thumbs up and V for victory. On land or sea for victory. 10 million Yanks from Kankakee to Kalamazoo to Kokomo are ready to go. Let's keep Old Glory in the sky. A Yankee rainbow riding high. Roll up your sleeves and help the gal who carries the torch to hold it high. Whatever befalls, America calls. Thumbs up and V for victory.
Thanks a lot, Ann Miller. Comes now, fellas, a musical event that's been causing quite a pileup in the mail department around Command Performance. Among those responsible are Private First Class H.L. Allen, Marine Corps. Allen writes every 2 weeks for the same star. Slow down, Allen. She's coming up next. And she's singing tonight for Hatfield and the Mob at APO 876, for DiLorenzo and the boys at 957, and you fellas at 869 and also 853, and the Red Legs at 829, and for Muscarella and the crew sweating it out at 817. Presenting the lovely song, You Are Free, from Apple Blossoms, sung by Kathryn Grason.
Just a game that two are playing. Love is nothing but a game of chance. Oh, the one who chooses very often loses. Love is never sure to be romance. Always lurks in Cupid's arrow, but he hasn't aimed at you and me. If you're thinking of some other girl to love, you
That was lovely, Kathryn. Drop in again soon. Well, sir, we're calling Ozzie, Mac, Mousy, and Hofer, ex-farmhands over at APO 862. Sarge Kohlenberg over in India. Dell, Dilo, and Benny at 832. Mike and Paul also in India. India's really on the beam tonight. And Stoker Lawrence, care of GPO in London. We're working at your request, too, for the 87 mess. And Fosco at APO 838. How's it with you? Hello to Master McMillan at Greenock Mum, and regards to the British Isles. Here's more good news from Command Performance and one of your top favorites, those ever-loving Charioteers.
Now, no gal will ever make a fool of me. No gal, I mean just what I say. I'm not the simpleton I used to be. I wonder how I got that way. No, once I was full of sentiment, 'tis true, but now I've got a cruel heart. With all that other foolishness, I'm through. Gonna play the villain. mighty bold, feeling gay, reckless too, kept me mind all the time, never blue, always going, don't know where, always showing, I don't care, don't love nobody, it's not required, I'm all alone, running wild, I'm running wild, lost control, running wild, mighty bold, feeling gay, reckless too, kept me mind all the time, never blue. Why? I'm just running wild, just running wild, just running wild.
Fellas, right here I'm setting the stage for a preview of a scene from a forthcoming MGM picture. It's about an old guy and a dog. They're seated on a park bench. Way down the street there's a parade going by, and this old beat-up character, portrayed by Chill Wills, is whittling on a stick. He's going to tack something on the end of that stick. It's an American flag. He's turning to his dog and saying something. Let's listen.
Pretty, ain't it? I reckon if we traced this flag back, Shep, we could find the factory that wove it or the dye shop that mixed its colors. But shucks, you wouldn't know nothing about it from that. This here's one of these symbols that a man has to get up to make visible to his eyes sentiments, emotions, and memories, and the binding together of minds in some great adventure or cause. This old flag is beautiful because the things it stands for is beautiful and right and just. And maybe dim like a way down the years, these things will be a real and a more part of everyday life. I was just a boy of 18 when in front of Chateau Thierry, that was over in World War I in France, that I got my eyes open and know that to see this flag, you don't only have to use your eyes. You got to use some other kind of seeing that wells up from your heart. I sudden like found that maybe I could mistrust my eyes, but the things of the heart have a quality of certainty, like the passing of time or the seeing of truth. I knew then that I could die for this flag and not feel like I was doing too darn much either. Then in another battle over in the Oregon forest, we looked over to the east, and there it was a-flying. Our commanding officer called it Old Miss Pretty, but it looked like a huge bonfire burning on a high hill. And we forgot being tired and low in spirit, and we went on to fight like new men to establish what we thought was going to make the world safe for democracy. And I found out through all that scuffle just one thing that was left emblazoned on my memory, that if you don't never let this old flag down, it ain't going to let you down. Doggone it, here I am crying in my beard, and we're about to miss that parade. Come on, Shep, let's get out of here. Yeah, boy.
And now, fellas, for Bill Lux and Jack Butler in the frozen north. For North Carolina Tar Heel, Bill Hilliard at 302. Wonderful letter, Bill. For the London Regional Station. For Lloyd Jeffries and his Coast Guard mates up there in the North Atlantic. For Sal, Hatch, Stan, Baldy Bill, Queenie and Sam in the Hawaiian Islands. For Lieutenant Harold Bogan with speedy recovery from your shipmates. For Leatherneck Quattlebaum at 775. For the soldiers on Mongoose Ridge at that's 958. For Klein and for the crowd at APO 862, and Sarge Sailors and Top Kick Seals at 956. For you Army and Navy nurses and your boosters and the great little club called the Infantry, here's the song of the hours. There are such things.
That's true. There are such things. A dream for two. what you own, but just what you are. Peaceful sky, there are such things, a rainbow high, where heaven sings. So have a little faith and trust in what tomorrow brings. You'll reach a star, because there are such things. La da 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 dee, there are such things. La da 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 da, there are such things. Have a little faith and trust in what tomorrow brings. You'll reach a star, because there are such things. There are such
Well, that's it, fellas. We're all talked out and all sung out. So we're rolling up the sidewalks till next week. This is Dinah Shore speaking for all of us here on Command Performance, saying we'll be looking for that mailman. And man, you just keep looking for the answers. It's love and kisses from the USA and the old international so long to all of you. Good night.
This program is produced for you men in the armed forces of the United Nations by the Special Service Division of the War Department of the United States of America. This broadcast has been a part of our English language shortwave service.